Hey everyone, this is Mike. Today we're back in Genshin Impact, and I thought I'd kind of show you guys what the endgame looks like. Last week I ended up reaching AR 40, which is one of the big milestones when it comes down to endgame progression, as that is where you can get 5-star artifacts from doing domains. So I thought kind of show you what my daily routine looks like at endgame, as Genshin Impact is a very different game when you compare it from going through the story, exploring the world, and actually playing it on a day-to-day basis at endgame. So let's get right into it. First thing that I'm gonna need to do when I log in is actually go into settings and change my keyboard layout to controller. I don't know why this is, but every time I log in it reverts itself back to keyboard, which is kind of annoying. Definitely not the end of the world. Then I'm gonna check how much resin I have. I've got 93 out of 120, so I've got plenty of headroom, meaning I can do some other things first before I start spending my resin. I also noticed that my expedition rewards are in, so I'm just gonna quickly see who is ready and then just send that character back on an expedition. This should be my official, as she has some faster exploration times than the rest. So send her out again, and then we can basically start doing our dailies. When it comes down to starting off my day, I usually like to start with the commissions to kind of get those out of the way before I forget about them, as commissions do give you quite a lot of adventure experience, and they also give you a little bit of primo gems, which of course is the gacha currency. Seeing how this is a gacha game, you want to see if you can get as much of that as possible. The commissions themselves can be a lot of different things, like this one for example is going to be a mini challenge, where I just need to defeat a couple of enemies, and that's pretty much going to be that. So that's not going to be all too hard. What I would recommend as well is that you always bring one pyro character when it comes down to doing these commissions. As sometimes you'll have those enemies that have the shields, the wooden shields. So having a pyro character for that would be quite helpful. So that is commission 1 done. I am gonna scour around to see whether or not there are some materials on the floor, because sometimes these enemies will drop some materials as well, but it doesn't look like that was the case for this specific one. And there we go, second commission done. I can also see some ores in the background over there, so I'm just very quickly going to mine those as well, as I can use these ores to make some experience fodder for my weapons, which is something that I'm definitely going to be needing if I want to level all of my weapons up to level 80, which is the maximum that I can get them right now. As you can see, for example, this commission ended up dropping a bunch of loot, which can actually be pretty useful as well, as some of these items will be necessary when it comes down to, for example, ascending weapons or something like that. So these commissions can definitely be very helpful, not only for your adventure rank, for your daily influx of primo gems, but also sometimes if you get a commission like this, for some random items. Of course, once you're done with all 4 of your commissions, which that was my 4th one, we can go back to the Adventurers Guild to claim our bonus rewards, which you definitely want to be doing every day as well, as they give you even more primo gems and some other materials that will always be very useful. These things will also count towards your battle pass. If you're still leveling that one up, then this will count towards some experience for that as well. So as you can see, some aura, some primo gems, and some other items. And I'm also very quickly going to claim these missions on my battle pass, as that will get my battle pass to the maximum level, so that I'm pretty much done with this one as well. I'm very quickly going to check what my characters actually need out of those 3, so that I can actually pick the correct ones. And it seems my Ning one needs the prosperity one, so I'm just going to be claiming that one. So now that we're done with our commissions, this is where I like to go and spend my resin. Now when it comes down to resin, there are a lot of different things that you can do. You can get weapon ascension materials, you can go farm artifacts, you can go for talent books. Like for example, I still need 1 level up for my Jade screen over here to get it to 6. Once you are at level 6, by the way, you need a weekly material that drops only from the Wolf challenge. So if you don't get lucky with RNG, you can't actually level your skills past level 6. So that is why leveling them to 6 at least is something that's pretty important. So I'm going to check real quick over here. Drops on Thursday, so getting this to level 6 is going to be my focus for today. If I get this to level 6 before I run out of resin, then I can also do some other things as well, of course. These things you can farm every day as well if you want to just put in the time. These do not cost resin. These are just from world bosses that just randomly respawn as well. And you can check those in your little adventurer book. So if I open this thing right here and I go to the bosses, this one for example comes from Leeway, then you can see that these drop that material that I need. And then you can just press navigate. I can go over there, kill this thing. Once it is killed, I can just go back into the book to check again where the next one has spawned, because there are a few of them across the map, so you can basically go and kill a couple of them until they go on a respawner, because once you've killed like 4 or 5, depending on what enemy type it is, they will just like stop spawning and need a respawn timer to come back to you. Seeing how that's not the case just yet, I'm just going to go and do my talent book first, which is what my focus was going to be for today. As you rank up through the adventurer ranks and your world level goes up, these challenges will also become harder and harder. So for me right now, this one will be probably pretty tough because I haven't really spent that much time at world level 5, I believe it is right now, just yet. So this will take a little bit longer than it normally would. It's definitely not an issue because the rewards will be better as well. The harder the challenge, the better the rewards are going to be. It's often very useful to also take some of the elements that they recommend to you, like for example these guys have those pyro shields, which break really easily if I have an aqua character, which I of course do with Mona over here, or I guess they're actually called hydro characters, but you know what I mean. And it seems this challenge definitely wasn't as hard as I was expecting it to be. It kind of depends also what level the challenge is, like for example with the talent books, they can level up again at rank 45, where you get access to an even harder version of this one. There we go, grabbed my talent books, and I'm just gonna run this one probably 2 or 3 more times until I have all of the books necessary to upgrade my skill for Ningguang. Now I technically need 2 more books from that domain over there, but because it also drops the lower variant of the books, I can actually go in here in the crafting tab and I can craft the item that I require, because I also have some of the previous version of this item ready that I don't really need anymore. So I can just come and craft them here and check real quick how many of the other material I need, which is 9 in this case. And I can see whether or not I can just craft these as well, because as you are playing through the story, as you are exploring the world, you're going to be coming across these mini-bosses quite a lot already. And then you'll just be able to see whether or not you can craft them. Now it looks over here that I do not have enough to craft all of the necessary ones, so I will need to go into the world and go and fight a couple of these as well. So I'll just craft the ones that I need for now. I will need 5 more of these, so now I can basically go out into the world, fight the elite monsters that I need to fight. So I can just quickly check my adventure manual right here, check which of the bosses drop them. This one, for example, drops it. So there we go, I'm gonna go teleport over there, kill this thing a couple of times in the different locations of the map, and then hope that it will drop the item that I require to level up my Ningguang's skill. I do still have some resin left, so I'll see what I want to do with that. Maybe check some of the other characters that I want to upgrade. Maybe there are some weapon essential materials that are available today as well that I need for a specific weapon that I want to upgrade. Or maybe if none of those things are up today, I can just go and do an artifact domain, because artifact domains are available every day of the week, so they're not on a daily rotation, like for example these talent books are, or the weapon materials are either. So I can basically just do them whenever I want. I also noticed that there are some ores around here, so I'll definitely be grabbing those as well once I take care of this guy right here. These guys like to go invisible, but if you can knock them out of their invisibility, you kind of like give them a mini stun. I noticed I still have my Mona, so I might as well make use of her. So there we go, took care of the guy over here, and as you can see he dropped a bunch of stuff. He also dropped some artifacts for me, which are quite nice, as I'll be able to use those as basically some experience fodder. Very quickly going to take the ores that are around here as well, before I move on to the next area. He didn't drop the material that I needed, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but the other materials that he drops, I'll definitely be able to make use of as well. I believe these guys are more specific for the material that I actually need, so I'm just gonna go and fight these instead, as they actually drop the material specifically that I need, and it's not just a chance of getting the one that I need, like it was on the one that we just fought before. And it seems that the dude I need to kill over here is also guarding a chest, so I might as well pick this one up as well, now that I'm here anyways. So there we go, guys are defeated. Now I can also very quickly go and loot this chest over here, which has a bunch of stuff in there as well. Chests also give adventure experience, by the way, so you always want to grab chests if you can find them. Definitely do that as well. I'm gonna quickly check, because they dropped some of the materials that I needed. I need 3 more, so time to go and find where the other ones have spawned. Just open your book again, scroll down to the enemy that you are looking for, press navigate, and then it will show you the next location on the map. And I noticed while I was flying down that there is another one of these elite enemies a little bit over here as well. So I might as well take this one with me too. Now there's another elite over there as well, so I'll get that one after I kill this one as well. Quickly take care of this one, like for example the ruin golem that is patrolling over there is another elite that will also drop some materials that I might need on some other character. So I might as well kill him whilst I am here as well. There we go, golem defeated. I also saw some ore over here, so I'm very quickly going to pick these up as well. Again, the more ore I have, the more I can craft that into some experience for some of my weapons as well, because I need to level up, I believe, 3 of my weapons to level 80 now, which is going to take quite a lot of experience. So getting these ores are definitely going to be very useful. And there we go, can upgrade this one. Level 6. Now all I need to do is wait for the weekly one to reset to basically grant me this thing over here, and then I can level these up a little bit more. What I can do now is I can basically look for some other ones, but I believe that these are not going to be up. That is on Friday. This one is also still Thursday, so I could go and farm for my Klee Ascension materials as well as I want to do so. So I'll probably do that as well. The priority that I usually like to look at is I go Weapon Ascension first, then Talent Ascension, and then I just do some other things along the side. Like for example, if you need to level up your characters as well, then you can of course do the elite bosses in the overworld, which will be these things over here. Like this is for example the one for Thunder, this is the one for Ice, this is the one for Anemo, and then we have a couple of other ones around here as well, like for example Hydro. And then Pyro is down here somewhere. Those you can of course always do as well. If you want to level up your characters, get their next ascension level ready, then do that as well, because that's very important. After that probably do weapons, then talents, and then once you've done all of that, then you can basically just grind out the artifacts that you need as well. But seeing how I already have some decent artifacts on my characters right now, and they don't have their talent levels up to level 6 yet, I'm basically just going to be doing that first. Level 6 being where you kind of hit that point where you can't go any further until you get lucky with the weekly boss drop from the wolf. So before you are AR40, you also can't drop 5-star artifacts from these domains. So it's definitely a good idea to focus on talent ascension, character ascension, as well as weapon ascension first. And then once you reach AR40, that is where you could go and start farming for the artifact sets for your characters as well. So that's kind of like the most efficient way that you can look about it, or that you can look at it when it comes down to spending your resin before you are AR40. So there we go, 2 runs done of this domain as well, which means that I've basically gone through all of my resin that I currently have access to. Of course, by the evening I'll have a bunch of resin back, meaning I can do these dungeons, or these domains as they're called, maybe 1 or 2 more times before I finish my day. But that's going to be the resin spent for this play session at least. I gotta wait for a few hours before I get that back. Now at the moment there is also an event going on, the Marvelous Merchandise. So I need to go to the Stone Gate and basically go see what he is asking from me today. So I'm just quickly going to teleport over there. This current event is actually kind of boring in my opinion. All you need to do is just go find the merchant in the open world, which they already tell you where he is. I can already see him standing from here. And just walk up to him and give him some materials. But if you've been playing the game for like a little bit more than a day, you're pretty much already going to have all of the materials that he requires from you. So I'm just gonna quickly skip through the dialogue over here. Talk to him again. I'm here to do business. Give him the materials that he needs. I didn't even check which materials he needed, but I had enough of them. And then I can just open a box and get some materials out of there. I got some weapon ascension materials, or weapon experience materials, which is pretty good. Now, before I end my play session, for now though, I can, if I wanted to, go back, do some more of these bosses, like for example, these Hypostasis, or the Regis Vines. These are of course going to be the elite bosses that require, as you can see, 40 resin to claim the treasure. But when it comes down to these other ones, like the Geovishap, these Skirmishers, Popper Flowers, abyss mages, those kind of things. These will all spawn until you've killed all of them that are on the map, and then they will go on their own separate cooldown until they respawn again. Usually I just wait until the next day for them to be back, but seeing how I don't want to just farm all of these right now, because I don't need all of the materials at the moment, I'm also not going to be doing that. But before I end today's play session though, I am however going to go and gather some materials. So for example, when it comes down to character ascension, getting their level cap uncapped, so to speak, you do need some materials, and these materials spawn usually on a 2 or a 3 day cycle. So normally these things should be respawned for me at the moment, as I don't think I gathered them yesterday. So I'm basically just going to be wandering around their places where they're supposed to be spawning, and then just gather the ones that I can see. For example, I can see one down here. There we go. These glazed lilies are used for my Ningguang ascension, so by the time that I reach adventure rank 50, which is where I can level her up to level 90, I should have enough of these glazed lilies already gathered around. For example, if there is a specific character that you know is going to be coming out, that you know that you want to get, for example, then you can already go and gather some of their materials in advance. Or for example, say there are a couple of characters that you would like to have, you don't have them right now, and maybe you'll get them through just like rolling on the gacha in the future. You can already prepare their materials so that when you get those characters, you can just immediately level them up. Because it's a pretty bad feeling when you get a new character, you want to play with them, and then all of a sudden you can't ascend them further because you just quite simply do not have enough of these overworld materials. And these also aren't things that you can farm by just spamming resin. Like for example, if you save a lot of resin, like fragile resin thingies, you can of course grind a bunch when it comes down to the elites, or for example the weapon ascension domains or the talent ascension domains when they are around. But when it comes down to these materials, these flowers or other things, these spawn on a day-to-day basis, so you do need to wait for these to respawn before you can go and gather them again. So it's always a good idea that when they respawn, you just go around, spend 5 minutes of your day to just go and gather all of these when they are up. So that when a new character comes out, or so that when your character reaches their next ascension state, that you can basically just ascend them right away, and that you don't need to wait a week or maybe 2 weeks even to basically go and ascend your characters just purely because you don't have these materials gathered. Most of these materials have 1 or 2 areas on the map. So for example, I just went through that area that I needed for my Ningguang, but that material also spawns in the Liyue harbor itself. So I'm just quickly gonna teleport to Liyue and gather my materials over there as well to see if there are any over here too. Of course, these materials are also used for multiple characters, like for example the mushrooms that I'm going to be gathering after this are going to be used for both Klee, which is the new character that came out I believe last week, as well as for Mona. And seeing how I am using both of those characters, I'm also going to be gathering them for both of them. Because otherwise I'll only be able to ascend my Klee or only be able to ascend my Mona. And I want to of course be able to ascend both of them. So it's definitely good to keep gathering these materials, even if you've already gathered enough for that one character that you have, so that when you get a new character that also needs those materials, you'll still have plenty of them left to spend on that new character that you are to get. So there we go, I just visited a bunch of places where I could go and gather some materials. These are of course things that you won't be doing every single day because they respawn on a 2 or a 3 day cycle, but every time they're up, definitely worth doing in case you get a new character, you want to level her or him up. Then you're definitely not going to be walled behind ascension materials because they're like on a 2 or a 3 day respawn cycle, so you can just ascend those characters immediately to the level that you want them to be. Now last but not least, what I could still do after this is I could go around the world and basically visit a bunch of mining locations, because mining outcrops will of course be able to be transformed into experience for your weapons through crafting at the crafting bench. I'm not going to be doing that right now, but it's basically something else that you could do on a day-to-day basis as well. So basically what you want to be doing at the beginning is you want to be doing those commissions. That's the first thing that you want to do every single day. Then after that you want to go into either domains or into bosses, depending on what you want to do, of course, to spend that resin, because resin is a limited resource and you want to basically always spend it and not overcap it. depending on what you want to do. Do you want to ascend your characters? You're going to be doing elite bosses. Do you want to upgrade your talents? You're going to be doing the talent domains, which in my case are level 70, so they were a little bit faster than usual. If, for example, those weren't up and I wanted to grind out some artifacts, I could do artifact domains. Those for me would be level 80, so they would take a little bit longer for me as well. But it basically depends a little bit on what you want to do. If the weekly bosses have respawned, for example, like the Wolf and the Valen, then you can do those as well, and those are relatively quick, and then you'll basically be out of resin quite quickly as well. So it kind of depends on what you want to farm, what you are looking for on that day, how difficult those pieces of content are going to be as well. Like, for example, Talent Ascension is very easy for me right now because they will upgrade again at level 45, whereas for me Artifact Domains are going to be a lot harder as they are a 10 levels above what my talent domains are right now. So it kind of depends on what you want to be doing, kind of depends on what you need to do as well. Like, for example, if you need to do those weeklies, if your plants have respawned, if your mining outcrops are ready, then you're going to be spending more time in the game than if all you need to do is just log in, do Wolf, do the Valen, and then you're pretty much done with spending resin. And if none of these materials are up for you to gather, then of course you won't have to run around for like half an hour gathering these as well. All in all, today I played for just under 1 hour, and I'm pretty much done with everything I need to be waiting for tonight to basically have my resin refill again, so I can do another 1 or 2 domains, or maybe do like 1 big elite boss or something like that as well. But that's pretty much the daily routine in Genshin Impact once you get to endgame. It's mainly going to be about spending resin on things that you want, whether it be for talent for your character ascension, as you can see these materials right here, whether it is going to be for weapon ascension, again these materials right here, but I need adventure rank 50 to ascend this further, whether or not you're going to be doing artifact domains, whether you're going to be doing talent domains, whether you're doing your weekly bosses, and then of course gathering materials in the open world, gathering some mining outcrops for weapon experience as well. That is all up to you to decide how you want to spend your daily resources on, basically. But that's going to be it for me. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my patrons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.